Did I just find a way to stimulate my prefrontal cortex? That
will forever boggle my mind. Forever boggle my mind. Oh my gosh, the miracles are never ending.
Feeling of being in my body. I love the feeling.
Kristin recorded herself singing and then placed her phone on the top of her head and balanced it there while replaying the audio recording of her singing to herself. Kristin was curious what this might do to her brain, as it was operating in a very unique fashion, stemming from profound depths of dissociation and mind-body disconnectivity.
My vision is changing.
I don't have to explain to anybody.
The feeling of my body is changing. There's a tingling sensation beginning in my brain and going down into my body because of the stimulation of listening to myself, balancing something on my head, and having vibrations on my head.
I just need to let go and know that I reap what I sow. So let's just keep planting seeds. Let's just keep planting seeds. Just keep planting seeds. Seeds are why I'm here. I'm just here to plant some more seeds each and every day. I'm allowed to let go of what others might say.
Whatever this is a full body experience.
Dream, and in this life I choose my dance. I love this dance that's so profound, creating
I felt a tingling in my foot that startled me awake, and then I jumped.
My life experience because I dare to explore my
Holy f***. Did I just find a way to stimulate my prefrontal cortex? Oh shoot. Or it could be one other thing. Hold that thought.
Zero.
Okay, so that either caused prefrontal cortex stimulation or oxygen deprivation.
Those are such very different things, Kristin. Prefrontal cortex stimulation is an increase in health, and oxygen deprivation is a decrease in health. This case study is ever intriguing and mystifying. Yeah, I don't have any memory of these experiences, so this is pretty epic to explore. I'm not sure where this case study observation adventure is going, but from what I'm noticing so far, there was a neurobiological increase in lucidity and stability because there was a shift from trauma
related neurobiological engagement, dissociative mind-body disconnectivity, etc., to increased abilities for mindfulness, curiosity, open-heartedness, lightheartedness, and activity within the normal life self, who is an independent neurobiological engagement from the trauma-associated details of implicit neural wiring. That's that. I don't know. That's just what I'm noticing here. So we'll see what happens. Wow, my whole body sensation is it has to do with the nerves at this moment. It has more to do with muscles when parts are fronting. And then when I'm out, I notice more of things with nerves. Nerves? It doesn't even sound like a word. Nerves? Nerves. Nerves. Snorting when I laugh means that the normal life self is present. Felicity. Hair being down is also a sign. Parts can't stand it, and I prefer it. Okay. Opposite. Oh, okay, we'll see what it is too. Okay. Alright, we'll play with this some more. Man, okay. What?
This next part is extremely fascinating, so let's explore it together.
That sensation of witnessing a switch of a shift. Switch. This is a full switch. 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 So, two. Two. Two.
This is a profound example of a unique style of dissociation where the left brain hemisphere and its language centers become inaccessible. Then, the consciousness does not have an ability for verbal articulation. This unique neurological activity may manifest through several different styles of unique personal experiences, among them being selective mutism, only being able to say the word to, or only being able to verbally convey words through song. Or you can sing words, but you can't speak them. So there might be no ability to speak at all. There might be access to just a certain sound that's repeated, such as the word to, or there might be an ability to sing but not speak. You can explore more about unique forms of dissociation in my expose on dissociative experiences of consciousness, which is discoverable within my Implicit Revelations gift package, a bonus feature of this Implicit Revelations case study. While we explore each piece of these neurobiological miraculous happenings in this following sequence, please keep in mind that the brain and the body operate in nanoseconds and milliseconds. So while we're up here perceiving seconds to minutes, there are trillions of happenings occurring beyond awareness, and subconscious and unconscious parts of our self-essence are first-handedly encountering those experiences. So while we explore this, keep in mind that all the stuff happening in the brain is happening in nanoseconds and milliseconds. So much is happening so quickly beyond what we know about. Only approximately 0.02% of what's happening within us are things we can directly perceive and know about through our conscious awareness. Approximately 99.08% of internal happenings unfold beyond everything that we know about. But there are parts of us directly in those experiences. So it's important to keep these mystical miracles in mind while navigating our everyday healing journeys through life.
That sensation of witnessing a switch of a shift.
This is where the switch of consciousness begins, as the brain unconsciously adjusts from a normal state of consciousness, where the left brain and the prefrontal cortex are especially contributing to automated experiences of consciousness. The brain shifts from that state
to an age-regressive state that's affiliated with the right brain hemisphere without connectivity to the left brain hemisphere.
Switch. Ooh, switch. Switch.
This is where it continues.
Switch. 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 Switch.
And this is where it peaks.
Two.
Now, Kristin can no longer access language centers in her left brain hemisphere. Any attempt at speaking simply creates the sound of two. No matter what she tries to say internally, the only external sound that she is neurobiologically capable of creating is the word or sound of two.
Two.
She recognizes this and continues staying present with the experience to see how long this unique style of aphasia will last.
Two.
I'm also noticing that there were slight experiences of oxygen deprivation and tachycardia, as her oxygen intake was around 95% and her heart rate was over 100 beats per minute. And that's what the little black thing on her finger is doing. It's measuring all that stuff inside of her while she's exploring her case study. Now she's going to play with her new experiment to see what it will do to her brain and this unique neurological activity.
Two.
You. I want to be here with you.
Love wins. Always.
I want to prove my love so true. I want to slow down the pace, forfeit the human race, refuse to keep on chasing.
This is so profoundly fascinating. Just a few moments after Kristin opened her eyes and kind of looked around and her hand stopped tremoring, her oxygen levels and heart rate began to stabilize.
The things I thought I wanted.
I cannot believe I got that on recording. This is epic. So, I just discovered a manual way to stimulate my prefrontal cortex. The most difficult battle of living with dissociative identity disorder is the chronic shutdown of the main brain centers. And it has nothing to do with me being crazy or weak or disabled or disordered or, the variety of labels that can be placed on it. It has to do with my neurobiological functions on an automated, unconscious level. In the exact same way that other people have an automatic rhythm and they're able to tell what's happening to the skin on their body through their days, and the way they're able to tell when it's daytime, when it's nighttime, where they exist within time, where their body exists within space, able to recognize themselves in the mirror, able to take care of their bodies, feed their bodies, all these things, because their bodies are explaining their needs in an unconscious manner to the conscious awareness in a way that there can be this response with a variety of options and a variety of applications in a singular moment. There's communication within the consciousness. There's internal narration. There's all these unconscious abilities of consciousness. In the same way that the average human being can experience that, I experience the opposite. That's what it means to live with a dissociative identity.
I set out to answer that question for myself, to explain it to myself a long time ago. When I was diagnosed 2 years ago. And I was like, I don't know if I can accept this disorder if I don't understand the science behind it. And fascinatingly enough, even that perception has to do with my neurobiology. And so I've been exploring my consciousness, and here we are, and we discover a way to manually stimulate our prefrontal cortex when it has shut down as it does. I know, the excitement of it all. That's what I'm telling you. That right there, I wouldn't have been able to do that before, this activity. That casual, comical reference to something within the environment. I didn't have the neurobiological capacity to do this before this. So, it's a song, an original song with rhymes, sung specifically from the position of the self to the subconscious parts. Or another way you could reframe that is, like another way you could approach it if you wanted to is, even the speaking voice is so much more regulated. The fact that I can recognize myself and I can tell what's in front of me in relation to where I am. I think that's the most profound thing about this experience. I can tell this reality from this reality. This reality is now interacting with this reality, whereas before they were completely separate experiences, and it was causing a variety of anxieties and disabled communication within the consciousness. The communication had literally been cut off, disabled. It had been abled, and then it was disassembled, and it was not abled anymore. That's what I mean by that. I always strive to use words by their, I know, right? I gotta make sure I don't mix these up because my brain flips things. Annotations, literal, connotations, casual. I try to use word by their annotations. I hope I didn't mix those up. I don't know. We'll find out. I know, right? No, we're not going to check because that would be responding to a dissociative part, and I would lose position of leader in my consciousness. I didn't have the neurobiological capacity to observe and respond to parts before. So what it is, it's a song, right? Okay, I'm just going to process through this, write notes, and talk, okay? Stick with me. Okay. Write a song script from self to parts, or from higher self to human self. That's what I was going to say. With rhyme and with rhythm. Has to have some kind of melody. And it needs to have rhymes. Slanted rhymes totally work, but there has to be some kind of rhyming rhythm and a melodic rhythm. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. Rhyming rhythm. And melodic rhythm. I know. I directed the intention of this in my mind, this video, to Patreon, and because of that, I'm having a hard time sustaining prefrontal cortex access. My intention has to be for me, because otherwise my presence is for them, and my mind and body separate. Here I was like, no, don't be selfish, don't do it for you. They'll benefit more if I do it for me, because if I do it for me, my neurobiology works better. I know, good call, and grab another water. We'll grab that in a sec. Okay. And then able to observe and respond to a variety of parts within my consciousness. I thought about saying within consciousness instead of within my consciousness, and if I had done that, I would have lost position of leader in my consciousness. Whew. A fly landed on me because I was talking about my parts and I was internally observing. My external sense was ever so slightly disconnected, so we're going to use this tool.
I want to prove my love so true. I want to slow down the pace, forfeit the human race.
I cannot open my eyes. I'm losing muscular control of my face.
I thought I wanted. It was all
I feel a vibration in my inner ear.
fanciful contour.
It continues. A sound in the distance interrupts our concentration.
Mirage of me is greater than I imagined.
We use our coping tricks to stabilize as best as possible. And yet even still our left brain has shut down, even with the coping trick. So it's about sustaining a vibration that's greater than the vibrations in my surroundings, in my head, or through my feet. It could be through my feet, actually. I think that would work. I think that would actually really work. A kind of sock, or a kind of shoe. Yep, a kind of shoe that stimulates nerve endings in the feet and allow the brain to increase its access to the vestibular apparatus. Boom, mic drop.
Okay, this is just utterly profound. It was just last Monday or Tuesday, I forget which day, but I know it was last week, after our chiropractic treatment. So that would be either Monday, December 9th or Tuesday, December 10th, one of those 2 days. I forget which one. We went to Walmart after our appointment to get some groceries. And we saw this on one of the shelves. And to find this video now,
A kind of shoe that stimulates nerve endings in the feet and allow the brain to increase its access to the vestibular apparatus. Boom, mic drop.
and to find this video now of this experience that I don't consciously remember, and I certainly did not consciously remember last Monday, is like mind-blowing to me. Because that was what, July? August, September, October, November, December. That was 5 months ago, and I don't have a memory of that consciously, explicitly. I don't remember that. There's a couple sensations of it that, like, I vaguely recall, or like, more accurately, a separate inner person in me recalls, and we have more co-consciousness, so they're back in the backdrop of my consciousness explaining, I vaguely recalled this, and I'm up here like, I don't remember this. I'm glad you do. And so I don't remember this. We definitely were not consciously recalling memories, and yet somehow, some way, some part of my consciousness knew that we had found the evidence that vibrations in something like a sock or a shoe would get us to be stable. Like, the fact that I could remember an implicit sensation without explicitly remembering the physical experience is like mind-boggling to me. My body remembered this and told me about it through physical and emotional sensations when my mind had zero knowledge of that experience or the conclusions we drew from that particular experience. Like, I vaguely recall at some point learning that vibrations somehow help. And even that knowing wasn't clearly accessible last Monday. It was kind of just this, I feel like I'm supposed to buy these. I feel like the vibrations are good. I feel like I'm led to this object. I feel like I need to get this. I feel like my body's going to feel mad at me if I don't get this. I feel an emotional attachment to this thing, even though I've never seen it before and I don't know why I want it. I am so blown away. So it's memory foam. So it's super comfy. It plugs into the wall, so it doesn't use up batteries, although it's not as portable, which is the downside we've realized. And it warms. Temperature is something we've also found that helps us or affects our dissociative applications of our neurophysiology of consciousness. I think I jumbled those words, but you know what I mean. And then heat and vibration. So it vibrates. It creates vibrations in the bottom of your feet. And so we got them. But somehow my body was able to communicate to my mind that these were important from a memory that I don't know about from 5 months ago. From an experience for a few minutes sitting outside experimenting while I was struggling to have lucidity. Like, that will forever boggle my mind. Forever. Forever boggle my mind. Oh my gosh, the miracles are never ending.
This is especially astounding because the video where Kristin made a note that something like a vibrating shoe would help to increase her regulation, stability, and presence, that was just a few minutes. Where she made a note of that in her video recording, that was a couple minutes. That moment, those few minutes were enough to create implicit memory data. Even when the mind was not processing any conscious explicit memories, which you can find more about in thesis number 27, where I explore dissociation in depth through an 8-part video series and associated text. Even without being able to create conscious explicit memories, that experience created enough implicit emotional and procedural memory data that 5 months later, Kristin's unconscious body-mind was able to communicate the idea of buying those vibrating slippers. A 2-minute experience created enough implicit, unconscious memory data to affect navigation months later, even without any conscious memory of that original experience. This shows the profound power of our unfoldings. Every single moment of every single day is creating implicit memory data. Long after our mind forgets the explicit details of what we do, our body will remember the way that it felt and the way that it moved, and that information will affect how we navigate and regulate through new experiences. These insights into subconscious realms or the unconscious body-mind hold infinite healing keys for our everyday healing journeys through life. Thank you for sharing the magical explorations with me, beloved soul friends. And please feel free to check out my entire case study ventures at kristinwindsor.com/known.